There will be 2 more Shinjus appearing very soon in Boruto, and the white karma of code is a living proof of it. By analyzing all the colored panels of the Shinju, we can say that the color of their outfits mimic the colors of a rainbow. As we know, white light diverges into 7 colors after entering a prism, and since we have 5 Shinjus right now with different colored outfits, there's a good amount of chance for 2 more entities to appear, possibly wearing red and blue colored outfits. So is the white karma actually responsible for this color difference among the Shinjus, and is there actually a new antagonistic duo on its way? Well, that's what we are about to theorize in this video, alongside some more interesting stuff from the 10 Tails to the Suzuki's. So make sure you are subscribed and let's begin. The very first theory starts off by comparing the story of 2 Blue Vortex to a complicated game of chess. Every character has their own motivation, which is shaping the story in a certain kind of way, with some characters having the power to predict the future moves, while some knowing the type of moves that they are gonna face from their opponents. The characters who are playing the greater game in advance in my eyes are Momoshiki and Amado, with the monster cooking his next moves in silence for over 3 years. Amado's plans are suspicious, which adds an even interesting layer to the type of moves that he's making. We also have Kashin Koji, who can see all the possible futures and make the best moves in the present to secure a good outcome. The birth of Shinjus by the actions of code, a character who has been awakening new creatures like an activation data code, could either be something that wasn't a part of Amado's script, based on how he prepared Kawaki to fight against Limitless Code by enhancing his defensive and regeneration power to a certain level, or they could also be a vital part of Amado's plan in the most unexpected way possible. The reason I think so is because out of all the cyborgs of Amado, he was able to modify 3 of them with shutdown codes. These were the Inner Kara members, Kashin Koji, Delta and Kawaki. Delta and Kawaki are proven to have these codes inside, but for Koji, it's just an assumption that could very likely come true. So this also enhances the possibility for Code to have a shutdown code as well. But for some reasons, instead of getting rid of this cyborg on spot, Amado continued to remove his limiters, which kind of led to a lot of major events. The Clawgrams were burned, Konoha got attacked, and the 10 Tails gained a consciousness of its own. If only Amado had decided to shut Code down right here, things wouldn't have taken such a worse turn. But what if I told you he himself made Code move from the 10 Tails dimension to the hideout of Boro, and everything that happened afterwards was also a part of his mega script? The reason Amado didn't use a shutdown code to turn off Code right away is because he himself brought him into all this. Normally it may seem like Ishiki's spirit provoked Code to do something in his life, but if you take the chapter where this conversation was taking place, you can see Amado mumbling something to himself, and this may not be a coincidence at all. He could have used an arbitrary code execution to project a hologram of Ishiki in front of Code, just so he could start moving and be a part of his secret plan. So not only does Amado's reluctantness to shut down Code indicate he's scheming something big, but also the possibility of him manipulating the cyborg using a remote system, which could be linked to his eyes, as hinted by Aida. So now the question remains, what was the need of awakening Aida, Daemon and the Shinju gang? If the thing that Amado actually needed was Kawaki's approval in using the karma to revive Akebi, he could have never provoked Code and all his plans would have went smoothly. Well, this is a clear hint that his plans to revive Akebi do not align in a linear equation. Rather, there are things that he already made sure so that he doesn't have to worry about them later, like the incident of omnipotence where Boruto and Kawaki switched places. If he hadn't upgraded Kawaki with surveillance scams, then he would have been completely helpless in this situation and could have even abandoned Konoha to find his precious vessel. But since he was satisfied by the fact that Kawaki has the karma of Akebi, it seems like everything was still going according to his plan, which shouldn't be the case at all, considering how he never expected Boruto and Kawaki to switch places. And unless he made some huge changes to his plan after omnipotence, there's a possibility that this divine event was also a part of his master plan, and there's actually a really big hint suggesting this possibility. But before I explain that, make sure to click that subscribe button to never miss any upload from my side. I believe the chess piece that is the second most important to Amado is none other than Aida. Out of all the characters in the verse, she fall in love with the person who was the most important to Amado's plan. Not just that, without Aida's help, Konoha would have executed Kawaki, crushing Amado's plans and dreams once for all. was present on the right moment at the right time, and that's how Amado's plans were saved from getting destroyed. This means he knew for a fact that Code will abduct him and he would find Aida there, who would then play a part in saving Kawaki from facing the consequences of his deeds. The old man must be really smart to plan it all, but that's not the end yet. When Amado was narrating the tale of his daughter's death, Aida was told to fact check what he was saying, and while it may seem like she did what she was supposed to do, she only confirmed the existence and death of Akebi, nothing more than that. There were no comments on Amado's backstory and whether he was telling the truth or not. Even Momoshiki found inconsistencies in what Amado was saying, so there is definitely a chance that Aida could have seen something that could have put Amado in trouble, but just because she is truly neutral towards everyone in the story, she decided to not spill the beans, and Amado kind of knew this from the beginning. That's why he felt safe, even though he himself brought this lie detector to Konoha. Till now some things are truly confirmed. Amado schemed it all to bring the cyborgs to Konoha and protect Kawaki when he crosses the line, yet there is no way for us to deduce the reason for the scientist to awaken the Shinju gang. So are they actually something that Amado couldn't predict, or is he playing an even greater game with the Shinjus also acting as the chess pieces? Well, I would like you to theorize on the role of Shinjus in the plan of Amado, and let's move on to the next big thing which connects every element of the plot, the cells of Shibai or Suzuki. Amado has obtained the divine material of the cosmos that he used to power up his cyborgs, but there is something more to the divine cells of Shibai that no one is talking about. The scientist had modified every member of Kara with the divine material. This means Jigen should have been no exception. What makes this possibility more realistic is that the numbering on the Kara members begins with Delta and ends with Kawaki. The four inners had the DNA of Shibai implanted, so it makes sense for Jigen to also be a part of such experiment. As for the proof behind this, Ishiki was the only Otsutsuki who lacked the Rinnegan, and almost all Otsutsukis who had consumed the chakra fruit before had awakened the Rinnegan. This means Ishiki had never ate a chakra fruit before, or the fruits that he consumed were not enough to awaken a Rinnegan. The Samsara Eye seems to have 10 tails origin, and even the dimension had a pattern on the floor which looked a lot like the Rinnegan. So what if the dojutsu of Ishiki, the Kokugan, was actually a result of Amado exposing his DNA to the cells of Shibai? This means he must have implanted these cells in Jigen as well, meaning that he must have possessed two Byakugans when he first landed on the planet. And since all his past cameos were shown with the back pose, there is no way for us to confirm that Ishiki had the Kokugan from the beginning. Now you could tell me that Ishiki shrinked himself to enter Jigen's body, and that should be impossible without Sukuna Hikona. Well, the narrative of Amado cannot be trusted for various reasons. First, we had these two representations of Ishiki and Jigen. In one of them, Ishiki can be seen choking Jigen, which shouldn't be possible if he was cut in half by Kaguya. There must be a reason for this panel to make it to the manga. It could even be a reflection of the actual events that happened between Ishiki and Jigen, and the story told by Amado could involve a lot of fabricated narratives. One more subtle reason to doubt the scientist comes from Momoshiki, who actively searched for Kaguya and even referred to Earth as Kaguya's planet. There was no mention of Ishiki while they were arriving on the planet, which is kinda suspicious, considering how Ishiki was the superior Otsutsuki and Kaguya was supposed to be a sacrifice. It would be as if some new Otsutsuki would come to Earth, searching for Kinshiki instead of Momoshiki. How was Kaguya so relevant among Momoshiki and his group when she was just a lower rank Otsutsuki all this time? It could have been because of her betrayal, but I still think there are loopholes in the backstory of Ishiki and Kaguya, which was narrated by Amado. By this we can conclude the cells of Shibai are the controlling factor of every pawn that is being used by Amado, and this brings us to one of the creations of the scientist, which could have been modified with a lot of divine DNA. I'm talking about the white Kama seal and how it could hold a greater purpose in the story. Years ago there was an interesting theory given by a Boruto YouTuber. He was called Aniwaifus Uchiha, who used to create text-based videos, and I had watched a lot of his stuff back in the day. The theory said the Jogan may be a combination of all the dojutsus in existence, since it's called the pure eye, and it's literally white in color, and when the white light passes through a prism, it diverges into 7 colors. Similarly, the Jogan may be the ultimate dojutsu, and I was really fascinated by this theory back then, but right now in context of Code, who also has a white colored weapon in his hands, it seems like the dots are connecting too well. The Kama of Code must have turned white cause he already had the DNA of Shibai inside his body prior to getting experimented with Ishiki's cells. It's not like Shibai would be able to resurrect using his body, rather the cells of the god Otsutsuki have transfused with Ishiki's Kama to make it a dud, something that Amado intentionally did in order to prevent Code from becoming Ishiki's true vessel. He must have then made it seem seem like he implanted code with Shibai's cells after the karma experiment just to prevent Jigen from being suspicious of him. So Amado not just stole the vessel of Ishiki for his own greater good, but he also made sure he won't gain another vessel, which is why he hindered his karma with some divine spells. The true purpose of the white karma must have been to grant consciousness to the 10 tails, and this brings us to the final theory. The two new Shinjus wearing red and blue outfits who could emerge very soon. Now either it's a clear hint that two more Shinjus are emerging, or maybe the white karma is a way to power up the other two karmas that are being used by Boruto and Kawaki, and surprisingly they are red and blue in color. So maybe the white karma's power will help the duo to unlock the true essence of their own karma seals. This explains the secret behind the two missing colors from Code's white karma seal, and by this we can conclude the dialogue of the unfortunate entity might actually be a hint to a gigantic plot twist. Maybe Code would merge the power of all the Shinjus to become the final boss type of character, or it could be that he's one soul thorn bulb away from awakening the powers of a god or Suzuki. Check out these videos for more such interesting theories. Also don't forget to comment down what you liked about this video. I will see you next time.